only go out the back door if they stop sweep one, for example. If you just try to go out the back door without first doing sweep one, you run into problems. It's a lot to learn, right? So I talked a lot. I was showing you guys basically the evolution of my game. Okay? Like when I was doing that close guard shit, I had no idea how to do half guard. If I ever got to half guard, it was like get back to close guard. It wasn't like attack with the half guard, which I do now. Right? If I got anywhere, it was like get back to close guard. That was all I knew. And I was pretty successful with it against other people that sucked. You know, like who do you compare yourself to? You know, like a lot of people hurt their feelings because they compare themselves to like the black belts, and they're mad when like the coach beats them. It's like, dude, really? Are you that irrational? You should be comparing yourself to your peers. You know what I'm saying? The people that are your age, your weight, started at the same time as you. How do you do against those motherfuckers? You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, get your feelings hurt. If that person broke you off, get your feelings hurt. You got some work to do. But if you're mad because like I fucked you up, you know, like of course I'm gonna beat you. I'm way better than all of you guys. So I was telling you how my game happened, right? The first thing was defense of everything, right? Then it became close guard was my shit. Then it became half guard was my shit. Then it became deep half guard. Deep half guard became my game. And I started looking for it as often as possible. Okay, let me show you another example of how I get to it. Dorian, get behind me. Put the hooks in on me. Your feet hooks. Good. And I want you to hold a seatbelt grip. Okay, now don't cross your feet here. Unlock your feet. Connect it right there. Now pull me up on top of you. Okay, so from this spot, okay, I'll break grip by going like so. Right, hold that grip again. If I can wedge into here and lock grip, lock my hands, I can break his grip. Okay, this will lead me to go back flat as close to him as possible. Okay, what's it gonna do? Invite him to mount me. Go ahead and mount me, buddy. Let's do that again. Okay, he has my back, hooks, a seatbelt grip. Pull me on top. We're in here. I'm defending choke. I wedge my hand in here. I break grip and I drop flat right next to him. Now slowly as he mounts, go ahead, get on top, buddy. Right to that first sweep I'll show you. Okay, so it became like, dude, you're not gonna take my back and you're not gonna mount me anymore. Anytime you try to do those two things, you're gonna go right into this sweep series. And it became like cheat codes. It's like a cheat code. It's like I'm cheating. You know, this will happen too a lot during the end back, where people will sweep themselves. You'll get them in deep half guard, bring your knees up, lock the grip, and the person on top will go like this. Get up on your knees. Yes. Do you see how I just swept myself? Let's look at that again. To some of you guys, that looks crazy. You're like, why would you do that? It's because you're an advanced grappler. You forget what it was like to once be like in your first year. Because in your first year, you do the silliest shit. Seriously. Let me show you something I've seen people do in their first year. Watch. Stand up for you. I saw a guy do this one time in a mat. Dear God, I seen it. I seen it. For example, they just do silly shit. You know what I'm saying? Like side mount me, like the whole like hugging motherfucker, this like squeezing when you should be like, yo, frames. Like you'll tell white belts, you'll be like elbows in and frames, and they're like, shut up. I'm gonna squeeze his fucking head and it's gonna do something. They're like, coach, that's not my style. I don't do that shit. You're like, what do you mean your style? You're a white belt. I got my own style already. Like, you know, so I'm just saying, people will do silly shit. What was I talking about? They'll sweep themselves. They sweep themselves. If they're in deep half guard, they'll be here on top of you, and they'll pull back and think that they're gonna pull you on top and take your back. Right? That would happen so often in deep half guard. That would happen so often where the dude would just sweep themselves. You don't want to have like accidental sweeps. You know what I'm saying? It would be be accidental. Like I would get to that position, and the person would do that so often, I would be like, oh my God, I just swept the person. It's like, no, you didn't, dude. That person swept themselves. Stop feeling good about those sweeps where the person does it for themselves. And you're like, yeah, that's right. It's like, no, you didn't do shit, okay? That's, like, I used to feel good about that. I would be satisfied with those sweeps. I would get underneath the dude and he would sweep himself, and I'd be like, yes. And it's like, dude, set your bar a little higher. You know what I'm saying? That's somebody who sucks. Nobody should just sweep themselves like that. So I started learning. It's 3 things based off how they respond to me pulling the knee to the ground. I talked about that briefly, you guys remember, right? When I pull that knee to the ground, 3 things happen. It either rolls them over, they base out, or they pull the knee back where it came from. Okay, and 1, 2, and 3. Number 1 is called over the top, number 2 is out the back door, and number 3 is the single leg. Number 3 is the hardest for jiu-jitsu people because it's a wrestling move. And you have to wrestle like the kind of wrestling that they're teaching junior high kids. It's simple, but it's like hard work. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's honestly easier to ask a kid in junior high to do wrestling moves than an adult. Most adults have like neck problems and shit, you know what I'm saying? And are like lazy and don't like shooting and sprawling. So asking jiu-jitsu students to start wrestling, sometimes you get some, as a coach, you get some like resistance because it's hard compared to jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu's lay on your back and win. In wrestling, it's like, get off your fucking back, dude. You know what I'm saying? And they're just so opposite energy of each other, right? That's why I'm saying of the 1, 2, and 3 sweeps that I want you to learn right now, number 3, if you haven't wrestled, number 3 is going to be hard as fuck for you. You're going to do it all awkward, your head's going to be in the wrong position. Okay, most jiu-jitsu people, number 1 and 2 sweep are super easy. Let me do them to Dorian again. Dorian, mount me. If I'm in the mount position, okay, I can get Dorian's hands on the ground. Good. I can reach in here and find the deep half guard. Okay? So now Dorian, sit up like this. Good. And settle kind of low. Settle low. Good. So this is the spot. Okay, move your hand. Move your hand. You see how he's falling back? Good. Don't fall back. Don't fall forward. Good. This is what I'm talking about. You see my bicep behind his thigh, right? My bicep behind his thigh, driving in this motion, makes sweep number 1 happen. Okay, my hands were not locked. Come back with me, bud. Come back with me. Good. Right? When I go for sweep 1, I pull his knee to the ground. You see that? When I pull it to the ground, Dorian, pull your knee back where it was. Good. I pull it down, he pulls it, he's pulling it back right now. Right? I could be all strong and be like, and force that number 1 if I wanted. Or I had the option to take number 3 because he was pulling back. Okay? If I have him here, get up on your knee. Good. And I'm pulling him for sweep 1, bicep behind the thigh. I'm pulling him for sweep 1. He's pulling back. I'm going to change direction onto the single leg. And for a lot of you, that's going to be challenging, but you have to learn how to do that shit and make it look swift as fuck. All right? The word swift. Have you ever used that word in your life? Swift. Have you ever been described as swift? Some of you guys are like, no, power. You have to be swift. Swift and smooth, right? You see how smoothly I move? Mount me again, bud. Whenever he mounts me, look how I can grab that, right? Anytime they mount you, they're inviting you into that deep half guard. If you know how to position your arms, do it again. Now look, I said my bicep is behind his thigh. Do you see it? My right bicep behind his thigh? Right? You see the downward motion pulling his knee to the ground? He's pulling back on it. This is where I have my choice now. I'm like, okay, am I strong enough to go, fuck him, he's pulling back, am I strong enough to just go, rah, rah, rah? Right now it's not working. So I need to stop, change direction onto number 3. That's challenging for new students to learn how to do. Changing directions in the middle of a fight when you're pushing something forward, it's hard as fuck to do. Okay? Watch this again. If I'm mounted, when he comes in for the mount, I catch it right there. Okay, do that again. Do that again. Or I could catch this one. Watch that again. The lead and the trail leg. Sit on your knees. When he's sitting on his knees and he wants to mount me, put your hands on the ground and slide your knee across me. All the way. Good. Do it again. Go back. I can take that lead leg, do it, and deep half guarding, right? Do that again. Or I can take the leg trailing behind, wait, put your knee down. Good, put your hands on the ground. Slide the knee across. Good, do it again. Do it again. Either way, either leg is deep half guardable. And once I get there again, is my bicep behind his thigh? Is that knee close to the ground? Let's see. Let's push it to the ground. You're going to get sweep number 1. It's a lot of stuff, right? I just tried to explain like 20 years of jiu-jitsu to you guys in like 20 minutes. So listen, grab your partners. Go over any of that shit that I just talked about. If you want to go over that closed guard shit and you need some help with that, call me over. I'll help you. If you want to go over the deep half guard, that's probably the thing you should do. All right? But I'll leave it up to you. All right? 1, 2, 3, have fun.